Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Hello, Ifasye.
Hello, Tracy. Hello, everybody.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Listen, it's, life can be a ride at times, right?
Yes.
But sometimes you just have to go with the ebbs and flow, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I have my concoction here.
That we're going to talk
Support
about.
me along the way. Yeah, yeah.
Just so IG knows, I have, she's now famous, Priestess Ifasye, and she is our health guru. She is our go-to health person. And I always talk about how can we keep ourselves safe during the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
She is so capable of teaching you how to ground, helping with anxiety, getting you to understand some emotions that you're having and what herbs out there can help release tension.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so many other things. We're constantly learning from Priestess Ifasye every day.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about you is, much like anybody else that is enamored with their job, you just got to, in book club, you're like, well, actually this herb would handle this and that. And you just, so I love when someone loves something because it without a doubt shows. So welcome.
Thank you, Tracy, for those kind words. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I really love working with herbs. And sometimes someone is talking, and I'm hearing the herb to tell them. Sometimes I communicate, most of the times I communicate it. Sometimes I don't, because one thing I've learned is that people have to be receptive to
Yes.
the idea of, herbs as a way of healing,
Yes.
so I try not to shove it down people's throats, but yeah, but I'm happy to be here. And I think, I was telling you before we came on, the way that I'm feeling in this moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really over the past few weeks is really, especially today, actually, it's perfect because it's in alignment with the subject of, the show today, Oatstraw, right?
So how have you been feeling? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. So, as my father has recently is dealing with some health issues. Let's put it that way. And, me being like the point of contact to help to organize his health care, his medication, his appointments, home services, those type of things, it really has been pulling me in all different directions, right? Because then
Sounds like it's very stressful, though.
it's very stressful, right? Even though I'm happy to do it and I want to do it, right? Because of course it's my dad. No one else can do it better than me, right?
Right.
But the fact is that
A lot.
it's a lot, and the stress, the anxiety, fear as well, because it's my dad, I want him to live forever.
Yes.
Even though we know that's impossible. But yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that he has the best care available to him, right? But it's working with a lot of different agencies and institutions and things like that. Yeah. So in this moment today, I just feel a bit I would say not disconnected, but just kind of like all over the place, right? And then, of course, also recently I lost a friend to cancer a week
Just
ago.
so bad.
So it's all of that stuff, right?
Yes.
Because the way things are for me is that it's almost like I don't even have time to grieve, right? Because I have to jump to the next thing and the next thing, with my dad and stuff like that. So um, one of the two of the main herbs
How
that
are
I've
you
been.
feeling before you go
Mhm,
on to the
mhm,
product that you're going to talk about?
mhm.
How are you feeling since your friend passed?
I think I did most of the grieving when he told me he was diagnosed. So that was at the end of August, right?
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Because in that moment, I heard spirit say that this is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that no matter what he did, what the end result would be. So I did a lot of crying, not to him, not in front of him, but to myself, or when I was speaking with my family about him, was like, I'm about to lose my friend, with the
Mm,
tears pouring, but I'm good. I'm good because most importantly, before he transitioned, there's some things that I did for him, right?
mm,
That once I found out that he transitioned the following day, that I just felt so grateful to
mm,
Spirit for making sure that I did that, right?
right.
And not having
Mm.
to live with the guilt of, oh my God, you know, you know, why
To
didn't
be
I do
honest with
it? Mhm.
you,
Mhm.
I don't think I would have let you.
You wouldn't have let me? What do you mean?
I mean, I would have been like, yeah, go,
Huh?
do it, go, do it,
Hmm.
just do it. Because I know what the aftermath and regret looks like.
And remember, we had a talk that Wednesday in book club. And when I told you what my fear was, and you said, because I told you about an experience with my cousin a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you said to me, same thing's going to happen again. you know. So,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
have
the
a
audience
different
is probably.
relationship with death, so I tend to be a lot
Mhm,
more cold in my responses, and I'm okay with how I express myself. I'm okay with me,
mhm,
but we had a conversation earlier, remember? And you said something like, Tracy, if I do this, meaning there's this whole experience that Ifasye performs, and she goes, if I do this, it's going to be hard on me. I think it's something like you said, it's going to be hard for me to do. And it was at that time that I was like, mm, but you have to,
yeah. And you
right?
weren't cold, by the way. It didn't come across as cold.
Yay!
Absolutely not. It was, I mean, I can't see myself not doing it,
Right.
but I really was reluctant to do it
I know. I understood.
because I knew what
I
the
understood.
outcome would be after
It
doing
was
it,
it
right?
was so close to home.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I totally understood.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just also knew that once we were on the other side,
Hmm.
I didn't want you to have regret.
That's right.
Because in the end, death is about the living.
Yeah, because when I found out, he actually passed Saturday night, right? But I
Mm.
didn't find out until Sunday morning because they wanted everyone to have a good night's sleep, so they
Thank
didn't
God.
say anything, right?
So
So
considerate of them.
yeah,
I know people that will not do that for others. If I'm suffering, I'm calling everybody. And it's like, wow, now I can't sleep. But go
yeah,
ahead. I don't mean it to say it that way. That's
right,
very considerate of them.
yeah. So when I got the call early Sunday, and I was told that he passed, quietly the night before, I was like, okay. But then a joy.
Mm,
I'm trying not to get emotional.
okay.
I can't explain the joy that I felt
Yeah.
and gratitude that I did what I was supposed to do. Most importantly, you know? And so, yeah. So I'm good. I have my moments, right?
Yeah.
But I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just breathe.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, you've been going through stuff with your dad's medical needs. You just had a death. We just finished talking about Nettle the last time you were on, and you
Mhm.
did say at the end of that show that
Mhm.
you wanted to talk about Oatstraw
Yes.
because it complements Nettle.
Yeah. It
So talk
complements.
to us.
Yeah, it complements nettle very well, because where nettle is nutritive, it's a nutritive herb, right? It has all the vitamins, the minerals. It's good for blood, building up. If you're anemic, if you're having heavy menstrual flow, So I went through all of those things, right?
Right.
So has the vitamin C, vitamin K, all of these different vitamins, right? And then I did speak about the spiritual aspects of it as well. Yeah,
Of Nettle.
so of nettle, right?
Yes.
And so oat straw complements it very well because where nettle is building you up, strengthening you, giving you nutrients, feeding your body in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oat straw helps to keep you calm, grounded, centered, right? So oat straw is it's like a nerve tonic, right? It strengthens and feeds the nervous system, right? I made some
Mm.
notes. So if you see me looking down, that's why I didn't want to.
Oh, look at your notes. We're fine.
Yeah. So oat straw feeds the tissues directly, right? Um, so in the case of stress to the body, shock, you know, um, uh, debility, it's really good for that, right? It's also a relaxant. So for if you have stress, if you have tension, it relaxes the muscle tissues, feeds those tissues and relaxes them. Um, and it helps, with emotions, help you to balance emotions, right? So, like in my case, where dealing with a father who has health needs, right?
Right.
And then trying to balance other aspects of my life, right? It can be very draining and exhausting,
It
right?
can be.
So, oat straw is really good, not only for the patient or the client, but for the caregiver as well. So, like someone who, there's so many of us who are caregivers to whether, um, elderly parents or family members, loved ones, children with special needs and things like that. And
Oh my God.
it takes
Yes.
a lot. It takes a lot away, like it takes a lot of your energy. Oat
Yes.
straw helps to bring together that like cohesiveness, of mind, body, spirit, bring about that balance. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
It's also nutritive. As nettle is nutritive, oat straw is also nutritive, but oat straw, it really helps to like when you're jumpy, stressed out, your nerves are shot, right? Again, taking care of someone long term, right?
Yeah.
Oat straw is something that's good to drink. You can make a tea out of it. Um, on a regular basis, right? So right now, especially over the past couple of months, I've been drinking that like 2 to 3 times a day. I drink a cup, right? So I have a concoction right here of oat straw mixed with nettle, right? Um, it's mild in taste, so it's not like, it's bitter. You can sweeten it or you can drink it straight, you know. And so it blends well with other herbs as well. But I'm gonna try to stay on just oat straw, you know,
Yes,
um,
yes.
not be all over the place with other herbs. But where I feel is necessary, I may mention other herbs. And I was saying to Tracy, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about oat straw, and the reason why at the top of the show I said the way that I'm feeling or what I'm dealing with, right, is oat straw is really right on time for this discussion today, because when we think about mental and spiritual health, well, I don't separate the two, right?
Right.
Mental health is spiritual health is mental health, because they both
It
impact
is.
the other,
Yeah.
and just needing to really pay attention to you, right? Especially if there are those of us who tend to be nurturers and taking care of everyone else first, right? Putting everyone else ahead. While that is noble and that's kind and all of those great things, without you whole and without you, in alignment, you really can't give 100% to everyone,
Mm.
right? Because if you're not functioning at your optimal state, right, it'll be even harder for you to give 100% to everyone else, right? So you have to take care of yourself first. I mean, don't you agree?
Well,
Hmm.
so I get a lot of clients
Hmm.
that believe that they are, you know, giving of themselves and then they don't get back. They don't give back, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
I think I've been a victim of
Me
giving
too.
too much,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And not getting back. And sometimes you just get a little shocked when you actually need something and no one responds. Like you're like, ah. And so somewhere down the line, I
Mhm.
had to figure out that I wasn't, and I want you guys to understand this too. There's nothing saintly about giving too much. Like it's not a good thing, right? You literally need to stop and learn to say, let me think about it, or no.
Yeah.
And
What?
then top it off,
Mhm.
nurture yourself with the proper herbs.
Yeah. No, by the way, as you know, is a full sentence, right?
What is?
No,
Absolutely.
right?
Full,
And
full
yeah,
stop,
full stop. You
right?
don't you don't have to give a reason why you're saying no.
You don't justify it,
You don't
right?
have to justify it, right?
Right.
So when we talk about, mental, spiritual health and, being in alignment, right? You really have to check in with yourself
Mm,
and check in and see what you need and where it's needed, right?
right.
And sometimes you might need to check out for a day or two just for you to be able to, come back to center, because
Or
the chaos will
Patricia,
always be there.
what's your day off? Like, what's your day off? Mine is Sunday,
Okay.
and I find that that is the one day I nurture myself.
Yeah.
However way that looks to me.
Yes. And that's the key, right? Because nurturing, self-care, self-love, different. It depends on the need, right? It depends
Yeah.
on what you need. So my day off tends to be Mondays.
Mm,
I keep my schedule really light on Mondays,
got it.
you know? So coming off of a weekend, you would think that, okay, I had a weekend to relax. Well, most weekends are not, relaxing for me. Most weekends are really busy for me.
Mm,
So Monday tends to be the day where I keep it light. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do anything on a Monday, right? But yeah, yeah, that's a day that I can tend to keep my schedule open and to just check in with myself, you know,
Yes.
to see, because sometimes it's like when you're feeling like off or disconnected or like you just can't put your finger on it, you know,
Mhm.
and that can make you snappy and snapping at people and getting into arguments and spats and conflicts and things like that. A lot of times it's something other than what you're arguing about in that moment, meaning that maybe it was a couple of days ago, someone said something or you saw something, something triggered you, right? But you didn't
Mhm.
address it. And so now fast forward a few weeks, a few days or a week or whatever, and you just find yourself off. So that's when I take the time to myself and try to retract
Mhm.
events.
Right.
And sometimes it's the simplest thing. It
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily have to be anything, like you had a big fight with somebody or something like that. Sometimes it's the simplest thing that you know that you realize is what started that cascade of imbalance, if you will,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it's important to check in with yourself to make sure that you're good, just like how it's important to check into your strong friends, your independent friends, and to make sure that they're okay, especially in this era that we are living in now, right? It's
You
important
do
to
that.
do that, right?
You always check in, and I'm not used
Mm-hmm,
to people checking in on me.
mm-hmm,
And
hmm.
then one of my book club people, she'll just constantly just go, "Hey Tracy, how you doing?" And I just said today, I deserve that. Like I
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
admitted that I
Mhm.
deserve that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's great. So that means now that there's a shift there, right? You're opening up yourself to
Mm,
receiving because you're
mm.
always giving, right?
Right,
So yeah,
right.
yeah, right. So
Yeah.
as I was saying, you would. So now we know we're being mindful to check in on the strong friends, the ones that everyone would always think is okay, right? We also have
Mm-hmm.
to check in on ourselves too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's important to do, right?
Know thyself. That's
Mhm.
you don't kid yourself with that.
Well, that's one of the bullet points that I have here. Know thyself.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Ifasye, I just
Mhm,
want to get my steps through,
mhm.
but I don't want to walk away from you. So I'm
Okay,
gonna highlight you, but please begin. I'm just getting my steps through, and I'll come back and take you down.
okay.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
good.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, so before I get into further into Oatstraw, I wanted to talk about our mental and spiritual health, since Oatstraw is a really good ally for that, to help bring about that. In terms of our mental health, right? Especially in the era of this pandemic, sometimes we really forget to check in. And sometimes we want to be so helpful to others because we see others in need, which is great and which I fully support. But I also support checking in with ourselves and making sure that we are okay, right? So, and that comes with choosing you, right, over everyone else, right? And society in general has taught us that when we're thinking about ourselves, that we're being selfish, right? But in fact, we're not being selfish. That is called self care, right? Because in order to be in order to give our best, we have to be our best, right? And so it's really important that we take stock of where we are, what we need. And again, if you need to shut down or be by yourself, unplug from everyone for a day or two, then that's what you do, because that's going to make you better for you and better for them as well. Right. So know thyself, right? By checking in, then you're beginning to know yourself, to understand your needs, to know who you are, right? And just as you would be considerate and give to others what they need, however you can help them, whether it's a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen. Someone may need monetary assistance. You may send them some money. Just as how you would give to others, it's so important to give to yourself, right? And this is something that for a lot of us, we have to be so mindful of, right? It has to be a conscious thought, right? Because we have been so conditioned, or our characteristics or personalities has conditioned us to continuously give to others, continuously help others, you know. But also include yourself in that group is what I'm suggesting, right? Include yourself in the group that is receiving, right, from you. Allow yourself to also receive from you, right? So you need to nurture yourself as well, right? And when I said earlier that no is a complete sentence, right? It is so difficult to say no. Two little letters and a period. It is so difficult for many of us to say no, you know, and but we have, for our own mental, spiritual health balance, it's something that we need to learn to do. It doesn't have to be a mean no. It doesn't have to be an angry no, you know. But think about areas in your life and in your interaction with others where you say yes, but you really wanted to say no.
Yep.
And not because you didn't want to help them, but maybe at that time you just didn't have the capacity to. Maybe
Or
you were mentally drained.
maybe you recognize that people are taking advantage of you
All of
and you
those things.
regret it later.
Yeah. And then you're filled with resentment, right?
Yep.
And what is resentment? Resentment is also energy, right? So you're filled with energy, that low vibrating energy you're holding on to, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, saying no doesn't have to be no. It could be, I would love to help you, but,
Mm, right. Right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ifasye, I think you
uh-oh.
froze.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, because I wasn't sure. I saw you frozen. I wasn't sure if it was me or you. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
I saw you froze.
Oh, we both froze.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So before I got online with you, like 2 minutes before, right? I received a call from one of the health agencies relating to my dad, right? Normally, I would say, okay. And then I would be texting you, Tracey, I need 15 more minutes. I got to take this call, right? But you know
Right.
what I said to her? I said, not now. I mean, Monday to Friday and Saturday too. Come
It's
on. And I
ridiculous.
didn't tell her that
No.
part, but
Yeah.
in my mind, right? So I said, no, I can't do that now. I'm about to go online, right? And she was fine with that. She said, okay, we can catch up Tuesday. Monday's a holiday, right? Sometimes we're
Right.
afraid to say no because
Yeah.
we think others are going to look at us in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
When you think
Yeah.
about it, right? If people understand you, or if people are compassionate towards you, right? Or have empathy, right?
Yeah.
In most instances, they would understand. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Might be disappointed, but they'll
Right.
understand, right?
Right. Right.
right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, if anyone out there is having challenges saying no, you can start practicing gently, right? It doesn't have to be no without a reason. It could be no, I can't do it because, right? But stand in your ground. And this is based on what you need, right? Because you have to know all the time, gauge yourself, check your temperature, right? Check the
Mm.
pulse of what's going on with you. And let that be, let's say, the driving force,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You know,
And
one of my
mhm,
friends
mhm,
who's, I always felt she was smarter than me in dealing with people.
mhm,
And she said, what I say, Tracy, is, can I think on it? Right? And so
mhm.
that gives me time and courage to come back later and go, I did think on it. And she says, she told me to lie. She's like, just tell him, you know, the date that you told me, once I checked my calendar, I got to do this with my son.
And that's it, right? So,
Yeah,
we may not, some of us may not be at in a space where we can just simply say, no, I can't do it,
right.
right?
It
Um,
doesn't always feel right to
it doesn't
just say
feel
no.
right. You feel guilty. I mean, this is a conditioning over a lifetime, right? So to just
Yeah.
switch it off is really hard. A lot of time when people switch it off automatically is because they have gotten to their wits end. So now they're angry, they're bitter. So that no is going to be a screaming no, right? We want
Right.
the no to be a kind no, right?
Yeah.
A no said with love, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, and so you may need to do it over time, right? So again, let me think about it. Oh, I'm not sure. Let me check and see and get back to you. Or, no, because, until you get to a space where you feel comfortable enough to say, no, sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. My group over here in St. Croix, they want to see me. I respect that, but I really have this thing with Omicron. I really do.
Yeah.
And so I almost never say no.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna hibernate, right? I'm gonna
And that's
limit my
okay.
I'm gonna limit my outdoors
Yeah.
and I'm gonna hibernate.
Mm,
And I really feel good about the self-care. Because that's what it comes down to.
it is,
Am I taking care of me if I say, okay, I'll come because you want to see me? It's like, it is about me today.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it about me.
Yeah.
But not because I'm being selfish, because I honestly believe in Omicron.
Right. That's self-care and that's self-love, love of life. A peaceful no. I like that. Kay just posted
Oh, a peaceful no
a
is beautiful. Hold
peaceful.
on, Ifasye, because we didn't get a chance to acknowledge everyone in the group,
Mhm.
right? So Island Dreamer said, hey, right?
Hey,
Hi,
Island Dreamer.
Kate. Marie Nicole says, hi, Tracy and
Hey,
Ifasye,
Marie.
yay. Oh, and she also said, shout out to the super psychics. That includes Ifasye. That includes Ifashe. She has a gift that we would only pray for. All right. Hi, Nova. That's my grandbaby's name. Hi, Stephen. Stephen always comes on. He always says hi. Good
Hi,
Health
Stephen. Hey,
Queen,
everybody.
says Brett Valdez.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Brett. Mhm. I
LaShonda says
loved your
hello,
hair yesterday,
Ifashe.
Brett. That green, green is my favorite color.
What? Is it a Leo thing?
I don't know, but I have to tell you though, over the years, my family shamed me into because I love green so much because I would buy green
Yeah.
everything once upon a time.
Yeah.
So I became so ashamed almost that I stopped buying green. But that was for some years, but that has since changed. But
When I was a
yeah.
kid, they said, what is your favorite color? And I said,
Mhm,
lime green.
mhm, mhm.
And nobody understood that. No one. And let me tell you something. As an adult, I insisted on lime green walls.
Oh, really? Mm.
Okay, it was a mistake. It was a lot.
One wall maybe, but
3 walls. And the other wall was my other favorite color, indigo blue.
But I have to say, a particular shade of green goes well with a particular shade of blue.
I can't tell you. I never took a picture of this. The funny part is, right? So I had the kitchen a similar green, but I thought I paled it down. So my son comes to pick up some extra money for the painters.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I knew something was wrong. And I said, how does it look? And he goes, like your shirt. He was being smart, right? He goes, like your shirt. I had on the brightest lime green shirt ever. And I was like, no, it doesn't. You always play. No, it doesn't. It was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived with it.
Yeah.
So good. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Color blocking, blue, green and blue. Yes, Marie. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is this color blocking? I'm missing it because I'm going
Marie
down the
said,
line.
yes, it's called color blocking. Example, green, blue. Yeah,
Painters have the color blocking.
Like these two.
Scale.
I like the way these two look together.
That's gorgeous.
Right?
Gorgeous.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Over the years, my green has turned into Caribbean seafoam green. That's my favorite now.
Okay. That's the color of my bedroom. You can't really see it in the reflection. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But very muted.
Yes,
So
yes.
I got my green, right? But it's muted, not in the way that people would say, you and green again. You and green again. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's continue on.
Yeah. So we're talking about self-care, just giving some tips. I was just moved to have this conversation. I know that we only intended on talking about Oatstraw, right? But just tapping into the experiences that that I've been going through, these past few weeks. I really think it's important and I see the difference of consciously every day tapping in with myself, checking in with myself to see where I'm at the end of the day, right? And at the beginning of the day, right? I'm grateful that my schedule is such that I don't have to wake up at a specific time to start working, right? Unless I have like a doctor's appointment, something outside of the house, right?
Yeah.
So if I feel like I need additional time to sleep, because typically I'm up like 5:30 in the morning. But if I need to sleep until 10, right? Did I freeze for a minute there because you froze?
Oh,
did I freeze?
I didn't notice. Your voice kept going, so I didn't notice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, but if I feel like I need to sleep until 10, if my body is saying you need to sleep more, then I do that, right? So, and I think that when we into ourselves and choosing ourselves, putting ourselves at the top of the list instead of at the bottom of the list, at the front of the line instead of at the back of the line, right? I think it would make it easier for us to say that peaceful no, as Kay so graciously defined for us, right? Because then you would really be tuning into yourself and wanting to give you what you need, right? And that's a way of choosing yourself, right? So yeah, one second. So
didn't COVID teach us that? Isn't there something about COVID that forced us to look at our sleeping habits, our home life?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but not all of us. Some of us are still fighting it, right? Some of us are still fighting against it, right?
Which is why Oatstraw is a means to the end until you learn
it
what
helps.
COVID is saying to you.
It really helps, So Oatstraw. I'm gonna get into Oatstraw. So, um, you know, yeah. So, when you're going through all of these different things, being pulled in different directions, it brings a lot of stress on your body, right? And this is where Oatstraw comes in, right? It
Yes.
helps to um, coat the nerves, in your body,
Hmm.
to calm it down, right? I mean, not just on a spiritual level. I'm speaking physical here, right? It's an excellent toner for the nervous system, right? So it rebuilds the nylon sheets around your nerves, right? So it really helps to calm you down, and so oat straw, by the way, is what oatmeal is made from.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, right. So yeah, so it's good for quite a few things, right? For high cholesterol, right? Just like how, people are told, suggested that they should eat oatmeal. That helps with people who are trying to manage their cholesterol levels, right?
That's why they have
Right,
that commercial out
right,
there.
right. Yeah,
Interesting.
it is a nerve restorative. It really helps to restore the nerves, and I can testify to it, that it really really helps. Again, herbs, you can't just take it once and expect everything to be repaired, right? So you have to exercise patience, and you do it over time, you know. Generally, at least 1 month to see a difference, up to 3 months, right? Right.
Yes.
So now there are some herbs that you would take for 3 months and give it a break, right? Give yourself a break, and then you'll start back again, right? Oat straw is something that you can take constantly. You don't have to take a break in between. Yeah, so it soothes and calms the nervous system. Um, It helps you if you're feeling stuck, if you need to be centered, if you need to be grounded, right? Oat straw is called the hug plant, Tracy.
Mm.
It's
Oh,
it's an herb that's really good for people who are dealing with a lot of trauma. And some people going through trauma don't like to be touched or don't want to be hugged. Do you know what I mean? Because depending on what type of trauma it is, right? You may not want to be touched or hugged. Oat straw is a good herb for that, because then it gives them that comfort, the energetics of that. So now I'm speaking spiritual. The energetics of it is comforting. So it's like being hugged, right? Um, until they're able to, get to a space where they're able to receive touch and hugs from people, Um, yeah. So it's an awesome herb, for, of course, someone who's ailing, right? Because of its nutritive effects, but again, also for the caregiver as well, to help them, right? So, like, for example, with my friend who recently transitioned, not only did I suggest oat straw for him, but also for his caretaker as well,
got it.
you know. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Hmm.
looking on Amazon and they definitely
Hmm.
have oak straw. They also have the tincture.
Yeah. Um, it's so depending on what you tincture it with, and I can't remember off the top of my head. It's not it's not very effective in a tincture, because
Interesting.
oat straw is mucilaginous. Like how oatmeal is kind of like stretchy, like that
Yeah.
kind of. Right. So it doesn't herbs like that doesn't don't always do well as tinctures, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So, but you can blend it. First of all, the taste is very mild. It's not bitter. So it's not something that you would have to camouflage the taste by adding something else in it, you
Right.
know. Unlike nettle, where although it's not bitter, you know, there's a taste about it that can be unpleasant to some. And so you might want to camouflage the taste by adding mint, you know, ginger else, you know. Yeah. So as a tea, I would recommend drinking it, you know, as a tea, you know, an
As
infusion,
a tea.
as opposed to
Okay.
yeah, as opposed to a tincture or an extract.
I just ordered it.
Let me
I
tell
don't
you,
play.
yeah,
I don't play.
that nettle, the three that I'm constantly buying, and you know, based on my tea blends, you know, that I make, Oatstraw, nettle, and lemon balm. Those are my three most. When I say go to, when I want to attain balance from a
Yeah.
nutritional standpoint as well as from a nerve standpoint, you know,
Yeah.
of stress, you know, and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, Kay says it's needed to lubricate from the inside. So if you change the formula, it won't be absorbed well into the body. That would be useful in the end. Right.
I think you're talking about the tincture.
Yes, right. You know, because when you herbs that again, herbs that are like, I don't want to say, but for anyone who eats oatmeal, right? But you know how it has that sort of like, hey Melissa, you know, oatmeal has that kind of like stretchy, you know,
Consistency. Yeah.
consistency, right? So
Yeah.
that's the mucilage, right? Um, and again, it doesn't extract the healing properties do not extract well when tinctured. You know, through a
Got
tincturing process, right?
got it.
So it's best to drink it as a tea. Yeah, and
And
just
This is Tosha here. She says, I grew lemon balm last year. Let me show
oh
you again. This is Tosha. And she said,
yeah,
I grew lemon balm last year.
yeah.
Because you were
Isn't it
saying it's a
delicious?
part of a combo.
Yeah, the fresh lemon balm. Oh my goodness, the taste is amazing, amazing. You know,
And
um,
one more question. Would you suggest lemon balm in a
mhm.
tincture?
Yes, you can tincture lemon balm. You can
Okay.
also make an oxymel with lemon balm. An oxymel is when vinegar is used as the menstruum to extract the healing properties, right? So, yeah, you can definitely use lemon balm in a tincture.
As a
Hmm.
tincture. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you don't suggest it for oat straw.
No, no,
Got
not it's oat straw.
it. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm just going through the Mucin says it's very good. Are you referring to lemon balm? Yeah. Yeah. So nervous exhaustion, stress, irritation, grumpiness, all of those things, right?
Yeah.
That you're feeling, that you might be feeling. Oat straw is really good for that. And you know the beauty about oat straw? It has no contraindications, meaning that you don't have to be concerned that it might cause a conflict with any pharmaceuticals that you might be taking. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are no um, conflicts with any pharmaceutical medications, so
Okay.
you can drink as much of it as you want. You know, 2 to 3 cups a day. I would say if you're going through a stressful week, you know, you might consider adding that in your tea, right? So you don't have to drink it alone as a single. You can add it to your what other tea that you might be drinking, right? and that, you know, and you will still get the benefits of it, right? So now, in terms of preparation for oat straw, you can do a hot infusion. In other words, let's say a tablespoon of oat straw to an 8-ounce cup of water, right? Um, Hot water, right? And let it steep for like 15 to 20 minutes. But the best way to get the most medicinal properties from oat straw is to have it infused via cool infusion. So overnight or for 4 to 6 hours. So you just put it in, let's say you fill up this jar with cool water and you add the appropriate amount of oat straw and just let it sit out on your counter for some hours. You get it's a more potent brew than adding hot water and letting it sit for 15 to 20 minutes. Mhm.
So you're saying cold water or hot water?
So cold, okay, so you can do hot infusion with hot water,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get the most potent healing properties from it, medicinal properties from it, it's best to have it infused in cool water over some hours, right? So if you do it overnight, then you have, you know,
A good cup of tea.
right, for the next day, right? Or
Got
you
it.
can do it, in the morning, um, but 4 to 6 hours would be the suggested length of time. I tend to leave my herbs. I don't strain them. Very rare do I strain them unless it's a very bitter but yeah. Hmm.
You know, I brought this the straw that you have there.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You
because
you
with
did
this
it.
straw, I'll show it to everybody. With this straw, it captures the herb and it strains it out. So all you're getting is the liquid,
It's the
right?
juice.
Yeah. Because sometimes it can be, especially if someone has a hectic schedule or they're on the go all the time, right? You have to brew it, then you have to strain it. So this is an easy way of not having to do that because um, it's better to allow the herbs to infuse loosely, right? I know that we have that strainer, the infuser that you can
Yes.
put them in and put it down in the water and then you
It's
you
so
pull it out.
tedious.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of that is so tedious to me. And there's so many different types of strainers.
Yeah.
Nothing should be that hard.
I mean, they're okay, depends on your need, right? But it's just that the fact that the water isn't really allowed to circulate around the herbs, you're not really getting a lot of the medicinal, properties pulled out, right? Mhm.
Oh, so I
Because they're
didn't even
cramped.
think about
If
that.
they're cramped up, then it's hard for the water to get in between to, really infuse, and pull the medicinal properties out.
Oh, I
Right.
didn't think about that.
Right.
That's a
Yeah. Because
that's a good
sometimes I
point.
use those strainers too. It depends, if I'm, it depends. But having it just floating around loosely in the water would be best. Hmm. Yeah. So, um, so from a spiritual standpoint with oat straw, which I mentioned a couple of things. It's a hug plant. It's known as the hug plant. So it gives comfort to people, right? But
Yeah.
also it's good for people that's going through transitions, right? And it could be transitioning um, from life,
It's a
right?
good transition, but I need something to
It
hug
could
me.
be transitioning from whatever,
If a
one
man
job
can't
to the
hug
next.
me,
Mhm.
then I'm gonna take some oak straw. If he
Yeah.
can't be a good man, then give me some oak straw. I ordered it already.
Hmm. Yeah. So people that's even going through like withdrawals, right? Maybe you're quitting smoking or something hard,
Really?
something heavier than that. Yeah, it helps with it helps you to manage that, right? Because think about it, when you're going through withdrawals, whatever type of withdrawals is, your nerves get
Yeah.
shut, you get aggravated, you get stressed,
Oh,
you know, and that's the nervous
see
system,
now.
right? So it
Yeah.
really helps with that. It's a good ally for that as well.
Well, I hope some of my clients are watching because I don't have the same education as Ifasye.
Mhm.
And this week has been a week of people giving up some devices. This week,
Mhm.
it's been one client after another, like full admissions, full admissions. I'm
Nice,
done, and I'm
nice,
like, oh my
mhm,
god.
nice.
And I wish, I know now, so now I know what to tell people, so I know now.
Mhm, mhm,
But I wish I could be like, go see Ifasye. She will explain to you, what could help with withdrawals. I had
mhm,
no idea Oatstraw
mhm,
could do that.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
I hope
Mhm,
some of the people that I've had conversations with this week is
mhm.
watching this video.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the tea blends that I make that's associated with calm, tranquility, and things like that. Oat straw is one of the ingredients that I use in the blend.
Is there
I can't
is
in
there
the
Oatstraw in this?
what's that there?
The
Is the
Love
love potion?
Elixir?
No,
The Love Elixir?
no, not in the love elixir.
No.
Because that's considered in a way a tincture, right? An extra. I know you're
Yes.
like me. Every time I see my bottle of love elixir,
It's so good.
and it is delicious, but it was set with the intention for self-love, guys.
Why does it
Right?
taste like wine?
Hmm? Well, I told you the last time. That's what I used
No,
as
I don't remember anything, sweetie. Nothing.
yeah, yeah. So like when you make tinctures, when tinctures are made, some form of alcohol is used. Some people use brandy, some people use grain alcohol, diluted with water within a certain ratio. Some people like to use vodka. Every herbalist has their preference. Plus,
Okay.
particular certain herbs do better with certain types of menstruums than others, right?
Got
But
it.
for that particular blend that I made, I specifically added the wine, for love as part of
Oh,
the
so there
whole.
is wine in
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. So I use wine as um, the menstruum to extract the
Let me show
intentions.
everyone.
Yeah. Hmm.
This is your sample that you offered up to me when I was having a consultation with you. And this one
Hmm.
is called the Love Elixir.
Hmm.
Elixir. And it's
Hmm.
more about self love and
Yeah.
heart healing,
Heart healing. Yeah.
I
Which is
needed.
really important. Yeah. So with heart healing, right? Um, it helps us to open up because when we're hurt, you know, our spontaneous reaction is going to be to shut down and protect ourselves, right? So now we're trying to protect ourselves because we don't want to hurt anymore. We don't want anyone else to hurt us, right? So we sort of we close off our heart, right? But when we do that, right, we're also closing it off from receiving good things, from receiving genuine love, right? Right? So, and then it also keeps us from giving, love in that way, right?
Yeah.
So,
See all of that.
maybe I'll talk about Hawthorne the next time. But anyway, there are herbs that will spiritually help you to open up to receiving love of any kind, love from a friend, from an intimate relationship, all of those things, because when we shut our hearts down, it's difficult for us to have a relationship of any kind, right? And even with ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So there are herbs that spiritually will help you to open up your heart, right, while protecting your heart.
Uh, yes.
Hawthorn is one of them. I won't get into it now. I could talk about that another time. But yeah, So, so when we think of self-love and self-care, right, kind of go hand in hand, because loving yourself, having that self-love, that you need to take care of yourself as well. So self-love, self-care, right? It really goes hand in hand. And it's important. It's important for us to be whole, right? And we will always have challenges, right? Because we don't know what tomorrow holds, right? But when we focus on self-love, then we can love ourselves enough to go through the difficulties, right? Facing certain things that's so hard and so hurtful for us to deal with. It helps to give us the courage, self-love, right? Self-care helps to give us the courage to face those things, right? So that we can get on the other side of them, and continue our healing, right? So it is important to take care of yourself, because from that self-love also comes courage to go through the aches and pains of bringing forth the healing, wherever the healing is needed, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that Tarika says, how do I buy it? Is that the Love Elixir you're referring to?
Or, oh yeah, the Love Elixir, Terica, or the Oatstraw?
Mm-hmm. Because you can get the Oatstraw from Amazon.
The Love Elixir you got to get from Ifasye. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? This is my workstation. I keep it right on my workstation. Always.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, so I have a batch brewing now, Tarika. Um, if you would send an email to me to customer service at oruNaturals.com, that way, so that I can add you to the list. Yeah.
Can somebody put that in for me, please? Customer service at Ori.
ORINaturals.com. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I was doing healing work in 2020, some major healing work, right? Around love, self-love, giving and receiving, and not giving too much of myself, and trying to find a balance with that. That Love Elixir was like everything to me. Everything. And I used other things as well. I had other rituals that I did as well, but that was everything. That I never left home without. It was always with me, you know. And I wanted to share it with others,
Yeah.
Yeah, wanted to share it
Yeah.
with others.
That's
Yeah,
the gift when you have creative spirit. It's the one thing to have creative spirit, and it's another thing not hold on to it selfishly
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and say, I've
Mm-hmm.
got something here and I'm going to share it with the world.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. So does anyone have any questions?
Let me see what everybody
Oh,
is saying in the group. I got my thing blocking. Excuse me. Lottie goes, I'd love a man to hug me too. I'll be less nervous. Girl, I don't blame you. Go find that man, Lottie. Go get him. Shoot. Tired of being alone.
Mm-hmm.
What does Jules say? Something I'm learning too. I know mugwork is, but I don't know what you guys are saying.
Mm-hmm.
I was so interested in herbs, and then I forgot about it. This is Lottie again, because it caused complications, I guess, and this lovely reactivating my enthusiasm about herbs. calm learning and things. That brings me to another point, because Lottie is, I believe, if I'm wrong, Lottie, correct me. I believe Lottie's in London,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to teach?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes. Who else is in the room? You talking to me? Yes.
Actually, yes, I am. I am ready to teach. I mean, Marie's cracking up. I do teach. It's the YouTube thing that has me a little bit. I still need to get adjusted to that. At least being live, right? But
But
yeah,
you
I
could
love
just Zoom
teaching.
it. Don't
Mhm.
don't teach on
Mhm.
YouTube. Just Zoom it. Just
Yeah, no,
create
no,
a
I
whole
would Zoom it.
class.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is that being live on YouTube, I feel like I'm
Yes,
just out there for the entire world to see.
you
So
are.
it makes me a little nervous. So over time, I know I'll get used to it, right? But
Yes.
absolutely, I love to teach. I do. I love
All
teaching.
right.
Hmm.
So we'd love to see that
Hmm.
set of classes, and maybe it could be a set of classes that each
Hmm.
herb follows each other. That
Yeah.
would be nice.
Well, yeah. I actually I have someone who I will be. I would say mentoring um, around herbs, so teaching herbs, about herbs. Um, but definitely from a perspective of having workshops, right? For people, because not everyone wants to be an herbalist, right? Some people
Right.
just want the information because they
I
want to,
only want the
yeah,
information. I don't want to
for,
be a herbalist.
right, for their, healing, if you will, right?
I just need to know
Mhm.
what do I need in my repertoire, so
Right.
that when I'm going through something, I already have it. Like, I'm always
Mhm.
finding out something. I had to order it from Amazon,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I,
Yeah.
I want to know, like, the
Yeah.
transition part. If
Right.
Oatstraw helps with
Right.
transitions, I'm gonna get it.
Right. And some people just want to know what healing properties particular herbs has that would help them with certain things, right? So in that case, I would love to have workshops about specific, types of things, right? Specific subjects, right? But in terms of, let's say, teaching herbalism, yeah, there's someone that I'm looking to mentor around that, right? Um, so I see that Kay says, will
But
it help with?
also, wait a second, Ifasye, you need to know
Mm-hmm,
that I am a very funny psychic.
mm-hmm,
And if I'm gonna learn something,
mm-hmm,
it's going to be from somebody that I trust,
right.
right? I don't want to go through the internet and look
Yeah,
at somebody's face to figure out that I can trust them.
right,
I'm
right.
having
Mhm.
a hard time finding an astrologer for that reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree.
You're the only herbalist I know. I know I can find
Okay.
some crazy girl
Yeah, yeah.
on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know her greed level. I don't
Yeah.
know what her what her end game is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I've known you for what, going on 2 years now in June?
Yeah.
And I know your soul. I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh no,
I only
absolutely.
want to learn
I'm
from people that I like
yeah,
now. Like,
yeah.
that's who I'm giving my money to.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I would like to host the workshops and things like that. One day people can learn about, I don't know, herbs for skin, for example, and possibly, how to make a salve, a simple recipe or
Sure,
whatever, things like that. I would
sure.
love to do that. I was reading something. Oh, here, Kay is asking, will it help with eczema of the face? I find that stress and anxiety causes inflammation, and it can cause skin issues as well. Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, because again, Aveeno, that brand Aveeno, I think it's like a bath soap that you put in the bathtub. That's
Yeah,
made from oat straw.
I
Um,
know. Yeah.
the scientific name for oat straw is Avena sativa, right?
What?
Yeah, yeah, So yes, absolutely. You
So they
can.
even stole the scientific name for the product.
Well, what is it? Valium. Valium is a derivative of valerian root.
What?
Yeah, a lot of a lot of the pharmaceuticals include herbal extracts, right? But then they add their other ingredients as
Sure,
well.
sure, sure.
Right, right.
Right.
But a lot of it starts with plants.
With herbs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, let's just remind people it's going back to nature, going back to our grandmama's days,
Yeah.
right? I remember coming into my West Indian grandma's house. I didn't know it until COVID came and I had to go back to thyme and rosemary. I put it in everything, my teas, my soup. It was my
Hmm.
grandmother's house I was smelling. I was making chicken soup without herbs.
Yeah.
And I kept saying for years, and I kept saying, it doesn't taste like grandma.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
doesn't taste like grandma. When I put in the right herbs, it was all my grandma.
The fresh ones, especially, right? When it's fresh,
Fresh
right?
ones, yeah,
Hmm.
fresh ones.
Hmm. Yeah.
It was all my grandma.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
even make my own chicken broth,
Hmm.
and I put fresh basil in my chicken broth.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't play.
Yeah.
Once I realized, once COVID woke me up and was
Yeah.
like, and I was having issues with my body, because I wasn't putting the right stuff in. Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah. So Aveeno, you can actually make take a bath with, you know, for your skin. So absolutely, that would, you can, maybe you can make like okay, you can probably make like a face wash with it, like let it infuse overnight or throughout the day, and maybe it's something that you can, after you wash your face, you can wet the rag and sort of like pat it on your face, to just sit
so
there
you're
for a bit.
saying if you have eczema spots, maybe
You
you
know,
can.
it's good for irritation of the skin, just like when um, back in the days, I'm aging myself now, but people had chicken pox, things like that. Oatmeal, like an oatmeal bath is good. If you have itchy skin, irritated skin, a nice oatmeal bath would be good. So that's where Oatstraw, um,
Hmm.
comes in, right? Because oatmeal is from oat straw. That's where we get oatmeal from. Yeah.
Yes, and Lottie, Ifasye did mention that this particular topic that we're talking about does not interfere with any medicines that you're taking, but I'm on a safe side, and I would say always check with your doctor just
Right.
to be on the safe
Yeah.
side.
There are no known contraindications with um with oat straw, right? So now, when I spoke about nettle, I mentioned that the nettle root, there's contraindication for the nettle root because the nettle root is good for men with prostate issues, right? But too much of
Oh,
it can cause, may cause like an issue, right? So you have
mm,
to take it within, be mindful not to overindulge with it, right?
yet the leaf
Right.
is different.
But the leaf is different, right?
Got it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Got it.
So now Marie says, I was working on this. Spirit kept saying to me, oatmeal a few weeks ago.
Hmm.
For what, Marie? For eczema? Oh. Yeah. So complementing oat straw would be nettle. Complementing nettle would be oat straw in terms of they blend well together.
And you're saying it's
Mm.
okay to make a tea and have both in it.
Yes, they blend well together. I have oat straw and nettle here. This is
Okay.
oat straw and nettle, and a little bit of lemon balm, right?
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. Again, some people have. the taste of nettle may not be pleasing to some. So you can do maybe a 60-40, 60 nettle, 60 Oatstraw, 40 nettle. You can do 50-50. You can do singles, 100% Oatstraw, 100% nettle. It depends. But the reason why they go well together, because again, one is so nutritive, nettle, extremely nutritive, right?
Okay.
And oat straw is extremely nourishing to the nervous system, right?
Got it.
When you think of someone running around and is just stressed out, long hours, or have to do this, have to do that, you know, um, those two will certainly cover the stress, right? The depletion of nutrients in their body, right? It'll cover all of that because imagine someone run on the go all the time. They're not necessarily eating right, right? They may not
Mm.
have time to eat, especially you know, your work. Some people in the office they may work through lunch or whatever. So this is a way of getting the nutrients, also feeding your body, feeding your nervous system to get that balance, right? So to help you to get to center. you know yeah. Oh, to make a
So
wash. Okay,
to
Marie
make
said
a
to make a
wash.
wash. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Mary, Mother of God, says, "Hi, ladies. Hello.
Hello.
Is that everything?
Yeah,
Thank
pretty
you."
much, unless anyone has any questions or whatever.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for bringing oak straw to our attention.
Mm-hmm.
And is there another herb that would be a topic of interest to anyone, or that you could think of, at Marie, that we could discuss in a few weeks too? And the at Marie, at Ifasye. Oh
Yeah,
my God, I was looking at Marie's
yeah,
comment.
yeah, yeah. I mentioned it earlier. Hawthorn.
Hawthorn. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd love
So
to know
let's
about
start work.
Hawthorn.
Let's start working on the physical heart and working on you know, the spiritual heart, the emotions and things like that. So
Okay,
yeah, Hawthorn is good for that, for heart work. Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do mushrooms right now. I'm not. I want to make sure if we discuss mushrooms that people are fully aware that we're talking about medicinal mushrooms, and there's other mushrooms out there, and I don't know if it would be safe for us right now.
Yeah,
I want everybody to
the
feel
only
safe.
mushroom that I would speak about, if I was to speak about it, if I'm ever moved to speak about it, would be reishi mushrooms.
Oh, I heard
And
about reishi.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
an adaptogenic.
and
um
you could buy that on Amazon, reishi.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That helps to build your immune support, et cetera, things like that. Hmm.
Oh, so
Yeah,
maybe it might
it's
be
an
something that
adaptogen.
we can talk about, because for
Hmm.
me it's all about COVID care right now too.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, but again, with oat straw and nettles, I think it's needed, as
Yes.
part of the COVID care, right? Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Because people are stressed out. Brett says yes for Hotan. Let me see. Marie says, I love this deep. Bow down to both of you.
Thank you so much, Marie.
Thank you.
Mm. And the oat seed, it
When
had
it had fallen to the ground, actually walked very slowly to a place it wanted to grow. Amazing.
that's Mother Earth.
That
Mother.
is Mother Earth, right? That is Mother Earth.
Yeah. Oh, someone mentioned. Oh, Tarika mentioned motherwort.
Is
Mhm.
that mugwort?
Mother, no, motherwort. Motherwort.
It's
It's one word, Tarika. Yeah. Okay.
okay. That's a consideration.
That's a that's a very good herb, by the way. Very good herb for mother-daughter issues.
Oh,
Mother-daughter coming to bringing things back together,
oh, that's
repairing
interesting.
relationships. Hmm.
Did you have an awareness of that, Tarika?
I mentioned it in. I mentioned it. Where did I mention it? Was Terica in group this past Wednesday? I think I mentioned it Wednesday, but I'm not sure if she was there. Yeah.
Were you in group this past Wednesday? You
Who,
weren't
me?
there.
Of course
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I do remember you being there. Sorry. Yes, Terica was there too. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you
Yeah.
might have mentioned it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Terica said you mentioned it in group on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all got good memories. Because I'm like, was anybody in group? All right, we're going to end this session.
Yeah.
Thank you for the questions and answers. Thank you, Ifasye.
You're welcome. It's
Thank
my
you for
pleasure.
your expertise. Thank you for your calm. Thank you for your willingness to share. That is your service to others.
Yeah, I love doing it.
Yes.
As I said, as time goes on, I think I'll get a bit more, calmer with it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But absolutely. You're
So
welcome.
how can they reach you?
Well, yeah. By email, which is orinaturals.com, ORI
Are you able
natural.
to type it in there or no?
I'm trying to see. Do I have a place where I can type?
I'm going to put you sideways so that I could type it in. So go ahead.
Yeah.
orinaturals.com.
Yeah, I don't think I can type. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's my website. And the email address is customer service at orinaturals.com. Right.
So I think I got it wrong. ORI, naturals with the S.
With an S, yes.
Naturals.com.
Yeah.
Make sure. Not the first one, guys. Naturals.com.
Yeah. Or customer service at orinaturals.com. If you go to the website, there's contact us. You click on that and you fill out the form and submit it. Not the chat button, the contact us. Yeah. Yeah, I prefer the emails. Guys, I'm really not good at checking DMs and on Instagram and all of that. I'm working on it one day. One day. But yeah,
But it's a
email
business, so communicating by email is acceptable. It's a business.
Yeah. So any questions or feedback or whatever.
So either customer service at orinaturals.com or www.orinaturals.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Priestess Ifasye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We honor your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Take it easy. Bye-bye.